Well, hello everyone and welcome back to Vickie's Country Home. Today I am going to make a recipe I've been planning for a long time and just haven't found the right time to do it. But I am going to make sourdough pretzels. And this is a King Arthur flour recipe, and for those that are going to come back and tell me that's not true sourdough because you added yeast, I know, but this is what the recipe calls for in addition to sourdough starter. So let's get started. All right, the recipe starts out with 3/4 cup of lukewarm water, and that's so you can activate the yeast. And I am adding 2 teaspoons of instant yeast, and then I'm going to add 1 cup of unfed starter. Now, I haven't fed my starter since yesterday, but I don't know if you can tell. It's still pretty bubbly, but not like it would be right after I fed it. It's actually heading down, losing some of the bubbles. So I'm going to get 1 cup of that. And part of the reason that you're using yeast in this recipe is because this is an unfed starter. So you're going to get the flavor from it, but not so much the rise. There we go. And we're going to add that to the bowl too. And you can make this in a mixing bowl. I'm choosing not to, especially because when I make sourdough, I try not to use metal, at least at first. And stainless steel especially is okay, but any other metal you don't want to use. And I'm going to add 1/4 cup of instant yeast. I'm sorry, non-fat dry milk. And you don't have to stir this as you go along, but I think it'll mix easier, so that's what I'm doing. And we're going to add 1 tablespoon of sugar, and 1 tablespoon of melted butter, three cups of all-purpose flour. All right, now that I've got everything else added, I'll go ahead and add the salt. But whenever I'm using the sourdough starter, I try and wait on the salt because it can retard the process of the rising and the relaxing of the flour, so I just don't add it until later. But once you've added the other ingredients, then you can add the salt safely. Okay, now I'm going to get my hands really dirty. I'll be right back. I like to wet my hands when I'm starting to work with dough. It just helps keep it from sticking quite as badly. And again, you could do this in your mixer, but I really think these are the best tools. And we're just going to work this till it's a fairly smooth dough. If you can see right now it's kind of ragged. We are going to make this more smooth before we let it rest. And it's already coming together. It's not taking that long, so it's not too bad. I'm going to get my scraper so I can make sure everything is mixed in well. And already it's not sticky. It just a couple of minutes and it comes together pretty well. All right. Now I'm going to cover this and let it rest for 45 minutes. So let me do that and I'll bring you back. Alright, I have let the dough rest 45 minutes and I had just covered it with plastic wrap. So now I am just going to turn this out onto lightly greased board. And I'm using my marble just because I like working on it. Alright. Now we're not really looking for a rise out of this dough, so that's not what we're going to do. What we're going to do now is just gently deflate it and fold it over just a few times to get the air out. We're not trying to knead it or anything like that, just kind of get the air out of it. And now we're just going to shape it into, mostly to make it easy to divide. You don't have to make anything special, but you want something that is pretty easy to divide equally. And we're going to cut this into 12 pieces. And you could weigh them out. I'm not going to. As my daddy would say, he was a tool and die maker. He just eyeball it. So just kind of get it where it's easy to see a division. So cut it in half, and then I'm cutting each half into 6 pieces. And if some seem really small, you can always cut off a little bit from the bigger ones. You know what? I'm not even going to worry about it. So I'm going to just kind of loosely shape a ball. Alright, now we're just going to form each of these into about an 18-inch rope. So just like back when you were a kid. Playing with dough. And there's your pretzel. Let me put this on my baking sheet, and I've got that lined with parchment paper. And I've never made this recipe before. I've never made pretzels before, so this is all new. But I've saw this done at that pretzel chain they had at the malls. So I flip it over like that and just do that. And you got a pretzel. That's pretty easy. I've never practiced it before, so if I can do it, you can do it. So let's see if I can do this slower, but it's pretty easy. You just kind of bring it up and flip it while it's in the air. And you kind of make, I don't know, whatever that is. It's like a loop with 2 strings. And then you just fold those 2 up. I'm going to press them down slightly so they hold. But that's it. So I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of these done, and then we'll come back before they go in the oven. Alright, I've got all 12 of the pretzels rolled out. While the dough was still resting, I went ahead and preheated my oven to 350 degrees. So that's ready to go. Now I just have a small bowl with 1 tablespoon of sugar and 2 tablespoons of water. Now it calls for diastatic malt powder or sugar. I'm not going to go buy something special. You can use it in sourdough breads also, but again, I don't. So we're just going to dissolve the sugar and water. And this is the organic unbleached sugar, so sometimes it takes a little bit longer to totally dissolve. And it won't be completely clear like your normal granulated sugar because that's been bleached and processed to be white. The organic sugar it's a kind of a tan color. So when it's dissolved, it's kind of a, I don't know if you can see that. Just a little bit beige kind of color. I'm just trying to get away from as much processed as I can. Alright, so So I've got the sugar and water pretty well combined. I'm just going to brush the pretzels with that solution. And then I have pretzel salt, and I bought this, I believe it was from Kaufman's Amish kind of store online. So I don't know where you find it locally, but I bought this a long time ago thinking I wanted to make pretzels, and I just never have. So today was the day, and I'm so glad I did. Oh, that was smart. This really has been easy to do. And I don't want too much salt on these, but I would like it a little bit, and my guess is some will fall off, so I'm probably putting just a little more than I want to stick. Almost did it again. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and get all 12 of these done, and then I'll bring you back when we put them in the oven. Alright, there they are. These have been so easy to make. It's really surprising. I think I was always intimidated by them. So you don't let these rise, you don't do anything. You let the dough rest, you divide it, you shape it, you brush on the sugar water and put the salt on. These are going to go in the oven now, 350 degrees. And these should take 25 to 30 minutes. So I'll bring you back when they're all done. Okay, these are out of the oven. They went about 30 minutes. And this part is optional. You can brush them lightly with butter. But, you know, you gotta have butter. And I'm gonna hand some of these off to Brian and Shayna so they can have one before they go change tires. Doesn't that look beautiful? Alright, I'm going to finish buttering these, and I'm going to go give these to Brian and Shayna so they can have them real quick. These turned out beautiful. And Brian and Shayna approved. They ate them very quickly. But aren't those pretty? I'm going to try some. I like to dip it in mustard, so let me move this out of the way. Here we go. Oh, that's good. I would do these again. They are so easy. They turn out so good. I might try making a fewer pieces and bigger pretzels next time. That may be one change I'd make. But instead, if you don't want salt on them, you could put cinnamon sugar, you could put some kind of brickle on top. There's so many different things you can do. But this is what I've been wanting to try for a long time, and I am so glad I did. They are delicious. So, hope you enjoyed this. And if you did, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and share, and hit the little notification bell. God bless, and we will talk again soon.